Throughout the years, there have been many TV shows and movies filmed inside the Disney parks. There were the classics like Full House, Family Matters, and even newer productions such as Saving Mr. Banks and Modern Family. Something these films all have in common is they were sanctioned and approved by Disney management. They likely had a chance to review the scripts and assist the productions in getting around the parks. In the Full House episode, you can clearly see people standing behind roped-off areas watching the actors perform the scenes. Completely realistic, right? But what happens when a production can't or doesn't have the resources to get Disney approval? What about if they want to film a horror movie or a concept that Disney absolutely would never go for? Well, I found 3 productions who did just that, and a little later I'm going to tell you what Disney's reaction was. On to the first film. In 2010, after Randy Moore visited Orlando with his family, he wrote and for the first time directed a film called Escape from Tomorrow. Moore told Vice that he visited Disney as a child with his father, and after his own trip, he started thinking that maybe there could be a story to tell. An inheritance from his grandparents provided the bulk of the film's budget, which he put around $650,000. Triple what he had originally planned. Moore started going to Disney on vacation with his kids, but not as a traveler or tourist, but as an observer, and he started looking around and planning out his shots the entire time he was there. He also looked around and noticed places they could hide cameras and film them without Disney cast members noticing. He eventually hired a casting director, and the production took off from there. Escape from Tomorrow is a horror movie that is set around a family's vacation. On the last day of his family's vacation at Walt Disney World Resort, a blue-collar worker named Jim White gets fired for an unknown reason during a phone call with his boss at the Contemporary Resort Hotel. Not wanting to ruin his family's vacation, Jim decides to keep it to himself. Honestly, from this point on, the story gets creepier and more bizarre in its writing, and it's rated pretty badly in reviews, but what remains is the fact that Randy Moore was able to bring all of the actors in and film the movie secretly without Disney noticing. The film was shot using the video mode of 2 Canon EOS 5D Mark IIs and 1 Canon EOS 1D. To compensate for their inability to control the lighting, they shot the film in black and white. Moore said that they spent around 5 to 6 days filming the entire movie stealthily. Disney never checked their equipment because a lot of people bring cameras in, and he had a shot list on his phone. They filmed on many different rides and even disguised Disneyland for Disney World in a lot of the shots. Moore even made the cast and crew film on It's a Small World over 12 times to get the shots right. The film debuted at the Sundance Film Festival to very mixed reactions. On review websites like Rotten Tomatoes, it has a ranking of around 56%. Most of the chatter at the film festivals weren't about the film and the story itself, but rather about how they snuck in and filmed the movie. Moore never sold the movie rights for distribution because he was afraid that Disney would never let it happen, but later on I'll tell you the very interesting way Disney reacted to all of these movies. On to number 2. By far the quirkiest and most charming on our list is The Further Adventures of Walt's Frozen Head. According to the Jim Hill blog on Mouse Planet, it started as a joke. A University of Central Florida student was joking around at a party with some friends about outrageous film titles. When he went home and told his wife, she told him he should make it. That's how UCF Film School grad Benjamin Lancaster came to produce, write, and direct a student film and ended up spending 4 years making the 80-minute feature. This movie was released in 2018 and follows the journey of a cast member named Peter who found Walt Disney's frozen head while walking through the famous underground utilidors. He finds out that Disney's darkest secret is that they unthaw Walt's head once a year to have Walt Disney approve major corporate decisions, but Walt Disney is bored and just wants to hang out and watch the fireworks. Approximately a third of the film is done in Disney parks, and it was crowdfunded. Of course, this is not a film that Disney would authorize, so filmmakers had to sneak the crew in and film. On the Some Jerk with a Camera YouTube channel, they interviewed Benjamin Lancaster and they asked him what type of cameras he used. He said they used Blackmagic Cinematography 2K cameras. Lancaster also mentioned that a majority of the establishing shots were filmed on monopods as they were easy to set up, take down, and maneuver, without causing too much attention on them. They were worried it would be mistaken as a selfie stick, but thankfully got away with it. They also, according to Lancaster, took all of their expensive lenses and cameras out of their top-of-the-line camera bags and put them into inexpensive Walmart bags, hoping to get them into the parks unnoticed, and they were successful. Lancaster mentioned that it was also a lot of standing and waiting for the perfect shots in a lot of cases, but before they went, they got the dimensions of every area they were going to shoot in and laid it out in a soundstage before they arrived, so they knew exactly how they would do scene blocking and where to film from when they arrived on each location throughout about the movie. According to Jim Hill, he told writer Seth Kirksby, "We shot on a property for 4 days, and every shot we had was logged into a 30-page document with the angle, the time, the order that we were getting it in, the contingency plans for different weather. We pulled up the park in Minecraft where it's been thoroughly documented in addition to scouting trips, just so we knew exactly every square foot that we were shooting on." The film is now available for free on YouTube, and according to Lancaster, he said, "We had a lot of discussions, and at the end of the day, we decided this is a film for the fans, and we wanted to make it as easy for them to watch as possible. Traditional distributors we talked to were worried about the film's content. My guess is they were also a little worried about Disney's reaction." The reception in the community was much better than Escape from Tomorrow. Disney fans saw it as a quirky and charming film that captured the nostalgia in a comedic way. Fans and critics alike also noted that they enjoyed the performance of Walt Disney, as they didn't sugarcoat the way that Walt actually was. The film premiered at the Santa Cruz Film Festival in October of 2018 and made its way around many different film festivals, getting approval from most of them. Number 3. The Florida Project was a critically acclaimed 2017 coming-of-age film directed by Sean Baker. It was the first film appearance of many of the cast. The plot follows a 6-year-old girl living with her unemployed single mother at a motel in Kissimmee, Florida. They try to stay out of trouble and make ends meet to keep ahead of being homeless. The film is all about the contrast between the hardship of their life just a few miles away from Walt Disney World, where it's considered the happiest place on earth. In fact, the title The Florida Project was in reference to the original code name of Walt Disney World. Most of the movie was filmed on location on International Drive, but the final scene required them to film secretly within Magic Kingdom. When asked by The Hollywood Reporter how they did it, Baker said, "Very clandestinely." He told them, "It's not against the law, it's just against the rules, and sometimes you have to break rules to make a film." According to The Hollywood Reporter, Baker first learned of these real-life families that live in the Orlando motels from his co-screenwriter. During the final scene at Magic Kingdom, it looks very much different from the rest of the film because they had to capture on an iPhone for logistical purposes. Baker mentioned that he used an iPhone 6 Plus to film in the Magic Kingdom secretly because he wanted to have a rolling shutter, and it gave it this hyperactivity and a very different jarring feeling, and he liked that. He said he could have shot it on a 5S to make it more smooth, but he actually wanted the audience to know we were jumping from 35mm camera to another medium. Baker said that even though they shot the rest of the film out of order, there was something entirely meaningful about shooting that as the last shot in Magic Kingdom, because after they were done, they allowed the kids to go on rides and have some ice cream. The movie released to much critical acclaim and was nominated and won awards from an incredible amount of places. Now, I know you're wondering, just like I did, what was Disney's reaction? Because we all know that Disney would not like that these films were being filmed. Did they sue them? Well, the short answer is no. When Sean Baker was asked about the Florida Project if he was worried about the recourse in The Hollywood Reporter, he said no. Filming there falls under fair use in the sense that Disney is a cultural phenomenon. I don't like to focus on that. I do like to say that we're not disparaging Disney. If anything, we are saying Disney is the ultimate fantasy for children. We also discovered that Disney gave $500,000 to homelessness in the Orlando area. The only villains of this film is the recession in 2008 and the housing crisis that followed. In fact, none of the films heard anything from Disney. It's theorized that they don't want to fight the battle in court to then have their properties deemed by law as a fair use public property. Sneaking into film is one thing, but what if you actually wanted to live at Disney? In this next video, I actually called the Contemporary Resort to ask them if I could sleep on their couches for free. Seriously, I did. I also try to find all the ways I could actually live at Disney. Don't forget to like and subscribe to become part of Team Epic. I'll see you next time, pals.